Have you ever found yourself sitting alone in silence, and suddenly, without warning, a heavy wave of emotion washes over you? It isn't just sadness. It isn't just nostalgia. It is a profound, aching sense of missing a specific person. You feel them. You feel their energy so strongly that you instinctively check your phone, expecting to see a message. You check the time, wondering if they are thinking of you too. But the phone is silent. The days turn into weeks, the weeks turn into months, and sometimes the months turn into years. And yet, no matter how much time passes, no matter how much distance grows between you, their presence in your mind never fades. They are the first thought when you wake up. They are the last whisper in your heart before you sleep. And in those quiet moments, a painful question rises in your throat. If our connection is so strong, why are we apart? If we both felt it, if the energy was real, why is there silence? You might start to doubt yourself. You might tell yourself, I must be crazy. I must be making this up. If they cared, they would be here. If they loved me, they wouldn't let this happen. You start to believe that the separation is proof that the love wasn't real. But let me tell you something powerful today. Let me offer you a truth that is rarely spoken but deeply felt by souls who have walked this path. Silence is not always an absence of love. Sometimes, silence is a necessity for growth. The person you are thinking about right now, the one who haunts your dreams, the one whose name is etched into your heart, cares for you deeply. In fact, they may care for you more than they have ever cared for anyone else. But there is a hidden, spiritual reason why you are apart right now. It is not because of a lack of love. It is because of a soul contract that you both signed before you even met. Today, we are going to journey deep into the hidden reasons for separation. We are going to look beyond the surface, beyond the ego, beyond the text messages, beyond the pride, and look at the energy. We are going to uncover the 3 profound reasons why 2 people who are destined for each other must sometimes spend time apart. By the end of this message, you will not only understand why this distance exists, but you will find peace in knowing that this separation is not a punishment. It is a preparation. Reason number 1. The mirror was too bright. The first reason why you are apart, despite the deep love, is what spiritual teachers call the blinding mirror. Have you ever looked into a mirror that was magnified? It shows you everything. It shows you your beauty, yes, but it also shows you every pore, every scar, every flaw in high definition. Can be overwhelming, can be uncomfortable. When you met this person, it wasn't just a meeting of 2 bodies. It was a collision of 2 souls. The connection was intense. It was magnetic. It felt like you had known them for 1,000 lifetimes. But that intensity came with a price. This person acted as a spiritual mirror for you, and you acted as a spiritual mirror for them. When they looked at you, they didn't just see a partner. They saw their own potential. They saw the love they were capable of, but they also saw the parts of themselves they were not ready to face. They saw their unhealed wounds. They saw their fears of unworthiness. They saw the emotional baggage they had been carrying for decades. For many people, especially those who have been hurt in the past, or those who carry deep-seated insecurities, real love is terrifying. Real love is not just warm and fuzzy. Real love is exposing. It strips you bare. When they were with you, they felt amazing, but they also felt exposed. The light of your love was so bright that it illuminated the shadows they were trying to hide. And so, their instinct was not to run toward the light, but to run back into the safety of the dark. They pulled away not because you weren't enough, but because you were too much. You were too real. You were too deep. You required a level of vulnerability that they were not yet equipped to handle. This is often the tragedy of the runner and chaser dynamic. You, the chaser, are ready for the love. You are open. You are willing to do the work. But they, the runner, are terrified of the intensity. They care for you. Oh, they care for you deeply, but their fear of being truly seen is currently stronger than their desire to be loved. So, the universe created this distance, not to keep you apart forever, but to give them the safety of solitude. In the silence, without your light shining directly on them, they have to face their own shadows. They have to deal with their own fears. They have to learn how to be ready for a love as big as yours. Reason number 2. The tower moment and the necessary collapse. The second reason for your separation is profound and often painful. It is what we call the tower moment. In the tarot, the tower card represents sudden upheaval, destruction, and chaos. It looks scary, but its purpose is actually divine. The tower destroys structures that were built on shaky foundations so that something stronger can be built in their place. When you and this person came together, the connection was likely undeniable. But perhaps the timing was wrong. Perhaps the circumstances were messy. Maybe one of you was not fully healed from a past relationship. Maybe there were external complications, family, distance, career, or other commitments. Or perhaps the foundation of the relationship was built on a need for validation rather than a foundation of wholeness. The universe looked at your connection and said, "This love is too important to be built on a cracked foundation." So the universe intervened, created a tower moment. It created a conflict, a misunderstanding, or a sudden separation. It forced you apart. This hurts. It feels like a punishment. You ask yourself, why would God bring us together only to tear us apart? But here is the spiritual truth. You are apart because the version of you and the version of them that existed back then were not the versions who could sustain this love forever. If you had stayed together without this break, the relationship would have eventually collapsed under the weight of its own unhealed patterns. You would have destroyed each other with insecurities, with codependency, or with expectations. The separation is the cocoon. Right now, in this time apart, you are both undergoing a metamorphosis. Have you noticed how much you have grown since you parted ways? Have you noticed how much stronger you have become? Have you noticed that you have been forced to find your own happiness, your own peace, and your own worthiness independent of them? This is the work. This is the reason. They are going through their own version of this, even if you cannot see it. They are learning what life is like without your warmth. They are learning the consequences of their actions. They are learning that the grass is not greener on the other side. It is just colder. They care for you, but they needed to lose you to understand the value of keeping you. Sometimes, a soul has to walk through the desert of loneliness to truly appreciate the water of love. This separation is teaching them a lesson that your presence never could. So, do not view this time as wasted time. View it as construction time. The universe is clearing the debris. It is pouring a new foundation. It is preparing both of you so that if and when you come back together, you are not two broken halves trying to make a whole, but two whole individuals choosing to share your lives. Reason number 3, the individual soul mission. Now we arrive at the third reason, which is perhaps the most difficult to accept but the most empowering to understand. Sometimes, you are apart because you each have a specific soul mission that must be completed alone. We often think of relationships as the ultimate goal of life. But from a spiritual perspective, relationships are the school, not the graduation. Your soul came to this earth with a specific purpose, a lesson to learn, a gift to give, a karma to resolve. Sometimes a relationship becomes so consuming, so intense, that it distracts us from our individual path. We get so wrapped up in the us that we forget the I. If you stayed together, you might have become stagnant. You might have settled into a comfortable routine and stopped growing. You might have relied on them for your stability instead of finding it within yourself. The universe separated you to force you back onto your own path. Look at your life right now. Are you rediscovering old passions? Are you deepening your spiritual practice? Are you focusing on your career, your health, or your family in ways you weren't before? This is not an accident. This is your soul mission calling you back. And the same is true for them. They have battles they need to fight alone. They have demons they need to slay without your sword helping them. They have to grow up. They have to mature. There is a saying, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Right now, life is forcing both of you to fill your own cups. This does not mean the love is gone. In fact, the love is the fuel. The memory of you is often what drives them to become a better person. They want to be worthy of the connection they felt. They want to fix their life so that they can stand before you with their head held high, not as a broken child, but as an equal partner. They care for you. They think of you constantly. But they know, deep in their subconscious, that they are not ready yet. And they respect you too much to offer you a half-finished version of themselves. The invisible bridge. So, my friend, if you are sitting there wondering, does he care? Does she miss me? The answer is a resounding yes. The energy you feel is real. The thoughts you have are not one-sided. The connection has not been severed. It has simply been stretched. Imagine a rubber band. When two people are close, the rubber band is loose. There is no tension. But when you pull them apart, when distance and silence grow between them, the tension on that rubber band increases. The potential energy grows. The farther you go, the stronger the pull becomes to snap back together. Right now, you are in the stretch. It is uncomfortable. It is painful. It requires patience. But do not mistake the stretch for the break. The rubber band is still there. They feel the pull just as much as you do. In their quiet moments, they feel the tension. They feel the void where your energy used to be. And that tension is slowly, inevitably, guiding them back toward their center and back toward you. The solution, what should you do now? So, knowing this, knowing that the separation is for protection, for growth, and for individual purpose, what should you do with this time? Most people make the mistake of waiting. They pause their lives. They check their phones 100 times a day. They live in a state of suspended animation, hoping for a sign. But waiting is an energy of lack. Waiting says, I am not complete until you return. And that energy actually pushes them away, creates resistance. Instead of waiting, I want you to try surrender. Surrender does not mean giving up. It does not mean you stop loving them. It means you stop fighting the timing. It means you trust the process. It means saying to the universe, I love them. I miss them. But I love myself enough to live my life while the universe does its work. When you shift from waiting to living, you change your energy field. You go from desperate to magnetic. You become the lighthouse, not the boat lost at sea. A lighthouse does not run around the island looking for the boats. It stands tall. It shines its light. It stays grounded. And because it is grounded, the boats can find their way home through the fog. Be the lighthouse. Shine your own light. Focus on your own joy. Fill your own life with beauty. Because here is the secret. When you stop chasing, you create the space for them to start pursuing. When you stop obsessing, you give their soul the room it needs to miss you. When you become whole on your own, you become the irresistible magnet that they cannot stay away from. The final ritual. If this message resonated with your heart today, if you felt a sense of peace wash over you as you listened, then I invite you to participate in a small energetic ritual. I want you to release the heavy burden of why and step into the power of trust. Close your eyes for just a second. Visualize the person you are thinking about. See them surrounded by a soft, white light, and silently say to them, I release you to your growth. I trust the journey. I am at peace. And then, to seal this intention, go to the comments below and write these simple words. I trust the divine timing. Let this be your declaration to the universe that you are no longer fighting the separation. You are accepting the lesson. You are claiming your peace. When you write those words, you are telling the universe that you are ready. Not just for their return, but for your own happiness, regardless of the outcome. And remember, what is meant for you will never pass you by. If this connection is divinely written, no amount of time or distance can erase it. The story isn't over. It's just turning the page. Thank you for sharing your energy with me today. You are strong. You are loved. And you are never, ever alone. Until next time, keep your heart open and your light shining.